Alrighty, guys, it is 3:30 this Monday, September 29th. Time to wrap it up for today. And we got a market which is a little bit roller coasting action going on here. So we started off this morning looking to buy weakness. Um, we got a little bit of that. And then towards the afternoon, after the London close, we said we're going to be less aggressive buying these support areas. Definitely, if to take out this 66.95, that's when to stay on the short side. So far, I haven't. They just kind of challenging this a bit. I haven't quite taken them out, but we had a nice roller coaster here that after the London closed, it took it down to to test the first support area. Then that's a nice grind up here, and this one it gets you caught, because it starts looking like they're going to take it higher. A little bit of hesitation, then have a big another round run down, leg lower. It runs and stops below the obvious, hard snapback. And now we will see. Now the test is really, are they going to be able to hold on to this and start retracing, or are they going to challenge the lows again? Anyone's guess, but I would say range. I would probably look for that challenge at the lows and see if they're going to try to take this lower. I was just got out of a trade on the Nasdaq. I'll show you that. I may have been leaving some money on the table, but I'll tell you what I did there. But so far, watch these levels, the 60, 67.05, 66.95s. They take out that mode at 66.95s. I think we are heading lower. And if they can hold it, I'm going to start range bound um, going into the overnight and see if they can start retracing a little bit. And if they can get up above this 67.15s, we're going to stay on the long side if that starts happening. But it's anyone's guess right now. I think if they're going to try, which side they're going to take this on. It's been a twisting in the wind kind of a market, but they're holding on to their gains, the overnight gains. They haven't taken out the session lows yet, so overall we are range bound, and it looks to me like we may have a shot at uh, recovering the day before the end of the before the close here. Now, as I said in kind of news, I just heard that if the government shuts down after tomorrow, we may have there may not be a labor report on Friday. So we got that. I don't know how the market is not quite reacting to it. It could be part of the reaction as well, the potential shutdown, but I'm not sure how that's going to go just yet. Looking at the bonds and the Nasdaq, bond market is kind of traded up a little bit, but hasn't quite gone anywhere. So I'm glad I didn't take in the trade on the bonds, because I would have been twisting in the wind, just hating myself, sitting here trying to figure out a way to get all day in a few ticks worth of a range. That's awful. So, but they held support. They're trading up above that 24. So I'm going to start off on the long side on the bonds and see how far they can take it. They're going to buy weakness at 1620 and 1615s. On the Nasdaq, I just said I just got out of a trade. This is a trade. So after this hard run down here, I'm watching this hard run down here. It's like, okay, fine. Then you see how the whole thing retraced. Typical freaking Nasdaq action, right? So at this point, I get pretty aggressive on the short here, right at the high of this bar. So either it's going to work or it's not. And right now, it started looked like it was going to work. Then they squeezed it a little bit higher. My stop is like I had my 100 tick stop on there, so it was halfway up against my stop. I was going to repair it here at the mode, but I was watching this like, oh shit, this is not looking good. And then I got a nice retracement on that buying just before the 3:30 time. And so when I got down here to break even, I just got out of it. And this is the reason, because I mean, it's if you're fading too much heat, you have a shitty entry, just get out of the trade. If you were in a better spot, I mean, they didn't have to fade at least like the 50 ticks of heat they had to fade. You probably stay a little bit longer. You would have been at break even by now, just kind of seeing if it's going to shake you out or not. That's the thing. Sometimes when you get this big move to the downside, it's either going to be a hard snapback or you get continuation. I was just looking for, especially on the Nasdaq, when it took out that London low. I figured that they had at least a shot at running it down to the session lows, but they may still do it. But so far, it's getting a little bit too volatile, so I'm not going to re-engage this. So the three trades, up to 50 on three trades. I got shaken out twice. Well, sorry, I had one loser from the get-go. That was this trade up here. That was a loser, a long trade. I took another long trade towards the lower end of the range. I was a winner, got my money back on that one, and then I took this guy here, which ended up being a flat-out shakeout. So that was it, or a scratch. So three trades, one winner, one loser, one scratch on the Nasdaq. So just paying commissions. That's all I did. Finally, oil and gold. But I would look at it same as the Nasdaq, by the way. Same as the ES on the Nasdaq. If they can hold The 750s, we're going to stay range bound. If they can get up above that K period high at the 870s, we'll be back on the long side. So that's kind of the dynamic right now. So overall, kind of holding on to the gains, but looks like I mean that's why it's like checking out this afternoon weakness. If it's going to get weaker, then we're going to start off on the short side. But so far, we're kind of holding on to the gains. Oil and gold, gold just they traded up pretty good. They're holding that range, and I would start from the long side of gold. We're going to buy weakness. I'm going to adjust these edges. They're off. So it's going to be buying at 38.50s, at the 38.46s, and probably done at the 38 to 40s here for rotations up. Looking for extensions to the upside. Look like gold is on a tear again. And oil, as I said in the last update, we were looking for further weakness if you can take that further, take that lower. At this point, it looks like that failed, and they're basically back here to values. I mean, exactly what we said. If 63 held, we're probably going to stay here and go sideways, and that's exactly what happened. Now, if they took out the 63s, we were going to stay on the short side. So I would start off range bound because right now we are back at value. So I'm not going to be very aggressive one side or the other. Even if they headed lower at a pretty good clip, they just kind of back to value. So chances are we are going to go sideways from here. We may look for some early weakness, see if they can challenge that 63 level, but I'm not going to be super aggressive on that at all. So oil and gold, so trade oil, range bound gold from the long side. ES and the Nasdaq, we're going into tomorrow's trading and we have some news there. The news for tomorrow on the Nasdaq is nothing at 8, but we have housing data at 9. Then we have 9:45 PMI, and 10 o'clock we get consumer confidence and job openings. So we got some news tomorrow morning to contend with, but looks to me like now that it's holding. They're trading back up again, at least on the ES. Nasdaq is kind of holding where they're at. So let's see what happens now. We're going to be especially watching it in that last 10 minutes, the last 10 minutes before 4 o'clock. That's if that what's going to happen there. All right, guys, we'll leave it there for now. So far, has 3 trades on the Nasdaq, pretty much in nothing day. Was considering the ES for a bit. I told you about that mode right here, looking for buying against that mode. They came pretty darn close. They came right there down there, not quite down to the mode, but that would have been a beautiful bounce off that mode. But they just shy of it. So I mean, I was watching it at the time, so. And that would have been a pretty aggressive trade, but you know how it is. First time to a high volume area, especially when it runs like this, worth taking the shot. Worth taking it. It usually bounces. So anyway, we'll leave it there. I'll see you back at 8:05 tomorrow morning. Have a good evening. Later.